Hello everybody and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where we know for a fact that there are at most, after this episode, 2 episodes remaining. Now there's only like 6 years. I don't know if we'll actually make it to episode 170, but we'll see. For right now, we are fighting Jerusalem in a de jure war. We're trying to clean up some of this territory, and we're going to continue working on that. Now, we've made big inroads into Africa. Honestly, if this game was going to go on for 50 more years, we would see an entire conquest. And we would have anyway if we had had, slightly less rebellions. But it is what it is. We had some... This guy's been able to do this for a very long time. We'll see if some of these actually fire. Oh, there's this Liberty faction. This one probably will fire. Is there anything we can do about this guy? Well, we could send him a gift, but we don't have cash. We're losing money right now. We could demand his conversion. And see if he converts. If he does, then that's great. Because we're losing 35 opinion right now from offensive wars. And we can actually do that for all of these, except this lady here is a duchess. Down here. She shouldn't even be reporting to us. And she's 9.4%. Now that won't quite get them out of, or rather get the faction to go away, but let's go ahead and give that to this gentleman here. So we'll grant her on over. Beautiful. And we're currently 25 vassals above. Wait, were there other options there? Grant titles. Or no, grant vassals. There are. There's this guy. And there's this lady. She is currently imprisoned. Okay. Well, we can definitely grant this guy out. That's Valencia there. Awkward. We're going to give him to Sinai, and we will do that. Now, what was that other one? Who exactly are you? County of Tagant. Over here. Oh, okay. So that goes to like Ghana, or actually technically it should go to Kabu here. So we'll grant that over. Perfect. And that will boost our soldier count. We do have a lot of direct vassals right now. Technically, if we weren't 6 years from the end of the game, the thing to do would be to consolidate kingdoms together. Because these have split up quite a lot. However, we're 6 years from the end of the game. How much time do we actually want to spend on that is the question. Now, this Liberty faction is something that I don't really want to fight, even though they wouldn't be very challenging to fight, if I'm honest. We can just demand conversion from all of them if they are not already Tengri, and just see what happens. Like, if we make them more angry, that's fine, right? Like, we're going to fight them anyway, right? So, he would convert for a hook. Sure, I'll do it. He would not convert. He would not convert either. Okay, so this guy's still leading the Liberty faction, and he has a hook on us. Probably shouldn't have accepted that, now that I think about it. Probably shouldn't have. Okay, well... we don't have a title revocation reason. We may just end up having to fight him. Or acquiescing. It is a Liberty faction. The bubonic plague outbreak is still ongoing. We'll see what happens after this war. Of course, there's also this crusade that I suspect is going nowhere, but I kind of want it to go somewhere. Because he's our vassal. Like, the Pope owes fealty to the guy he's declaring war on. I have questions about how exactly the game will handle this. We'll see. I'm guessing he's just not going to get enough troops, is my theory. Okay, now we have bubonic plague. It's too late for caution. We're going to do a risky treatment. Greatly reduced disease symptoms, but we are disfigured and wounded. We're probably going to die here. This is unsurprising. Sure. We'll do a diplomatic skill there. He appreciated the effort. Fantastic. So once we take this capital, we may well get enough from this to end the war. 20%. I would like this war to be over before we die. which will be any moment now. Now, it's unsurprising that we got bubonic plague. And we died. The war is not over, but the siege is almost over. So, this guy is our current ruler. He is 33, and he does have some children. So, let's go ahead and go for some concubines here. She has bubonic plague. That's awkward. Okay, well, hopefully we don't get bubonic plague. We do need a lifestyle, and we're going to go stewardship, and we are going to go, I think, domain focus at this point, honestly. We're losing a crap ton of money. Okay. That's problematic. Let's finish this siege. Okay. The war is indeed over. So we'll enforce our demands. This is in fact going to be full annexation of Jerusalem. Beautiful. So he becomes our vassal. Perfect. Now, the bubonic plague outbreak, and we need to disband all of our armies. The bubonic plague outbreak does mean... Why are we trying to murder this 45-year-old unlanded woman? Okay, let's stop doing that. Thanks. We currently have access to 34,000 troops. Uh-huh. This is probably because, in part, we need to deal with our council. So we'll put in people who are best, not necessarily people who are most powerful right now. So the steward will be this guy. Oh, wait, he was the marshal. Marshal is actually kind of more important, but this'll do. Yes, this'll do. We also want a new high shaman. We don't actually care about their skill, although our half-sister's pretty good, and she's also our best friend. So we're going to assign her. Perfect. Now we're going to be making good amounts of cash. Our wife is dying of bubonic plague. So we should assume that that's going to continue to be the case. We're going to revoke this title from this gentleman. Okay. Let's proceed for the moment. Yes, this is much better. Now, we're at 25 direct vassals. What other titles can we create? A bunch of kingdoms and duchies. I'm not concerned about creating those at this moment. Okay, just checking. We have some disabled buildings, but they'll be re-enabled soon. These are currently disabled. Yeah, they'll re-enable next month. Hopefully, we survive the bubonic plague here. Be cautious. Successful treatment. Beautiful. Well, while this is happening, we could see about reducing our vassal count. I'm not really comfortable with continuing to expand while this bubonic plague is going on, and we have probably roughly 1 trillion factions. These still haven't updated. I'm a little surprised about that. There we go. That's more like it. So yeah, this independence faction is a problem for sure. What other factions are there? Populists, 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 and populists, populists, and liberty. Okay, sure. So there's this guy. Now, you can't be in multiple factions. So the question is, do we just acquiesce to the Liberty faction? And I think the answer to that is yes. We're on absolute crown authority right now. So we'll probably do that. We need to be bouncing the Independence faction as long as possible. Now, a lot of these guys are very upset at us, mostly because of their opinion of the predecessor. Fair enough. Yeah, nobody showed up for the crusade, as expected. Minus 46 from predecessor. Yeah, that's rough. Very rough indeed. Alternatively, we could just straight up fight these guys and put them in prison. We would need to be pretty quick. But we do have access to a lot more troops. Hello, pause menu. But yeah, these rebellions are the reason why we haven't conquered all of Africa and these little bits of Arabia. I don't want to fight while we've got this faction brewing because of risks of having our siege weapons in the wrong location. Now, we can bounce these factions. At least for a little bit. We can do something like this. I mean, this guy is 30%. So this is not going to eliminate this faction, but it would bounce it. Our child situation is grim. So there is that. How many of these people would we be able to just straight up negotiate with? Probably not very many, but we should check before we go any further. Some of them we might have sufficient relations with already to be able to negotiate. What was this? Offer concubine. Okay. So far, this is inauspicious. Not a whole lot going on here. Given our child situation in the last life, though, that's unsurprising. So yeah, this faction is going to fire. Do we let them? I mean, we're not going to conquer the whole world in the time remaining. If we were to carry this over to Europa, I mean, we'd have a ridiculous start. But if we were to exceed the time limit, we could do it. I'm not willing to do that, really. I want the game to end on 1451 because... Oh, our wife recovered. Because we have the new DLC to play, and because we have this... Oh, I went down to speed 1 accidentally. There we go. Let's fix that. Because we have this stutter issue here. Yeah. Hopefully the new patch fixes that. So I do actually want to have the game end here in 6 years. So that's okay. We're not going to exceed the game duration. We're just going to see how far we can get. And to that end, we're going to have to deal with this dangerous faction. I think I'm just going to let them fire. And we're going to fight them. Now, there will definitely be populists behind this as well. 1,000,000%. But most of these guys are too weak to send an ultimatum. This faction might end up doing it. The Liberty faction can send their ultimatum at any time. We will acquiesce to that. Yes, this is okay. This is okay too. This is also okay. There we go. Okay, so I think that's our plan. We're going to acquiesce to the Liberty faction, which means that we're not going to go back onto absolute crown authority before the end of the game. And we're going to fight the Independence faction. Now, ignore the fact that they have 4 times our troops. That doesn't matter. That's completely and totally irrelevant. So this is the Liberty faction here. We're going to drop down to High Crown Authority. There we go. Now, that might pull some people out of the Independence faction. I think it's unlikely, but it might. This lady is the current leader of the faction. We're looking for somebody who has a lot of territory, but ideally isn't the leader of the faction. A lot of contiguous territory. Actually, this guy is a decent option for us to go after, potentially. How long until they send their ultimatum? 3 months? We may want to immediately begin raising troops. 41 days. Yes. Let's do it. We're going to immediately begin raising troops, and we got bubonic plague. Do no more than what is necessary. Hopefully we won't die of it. We're still fairly young, but we might. That outbreak is still ongoing. Never got a pop-up about treatment. So I guess the treatment failed. So we're probably going to die again. Well, this is our heir. He's currently on a martial education focus. I'm going to move him over to stewardship. And we're also going to pay for him to go to university. There we go. Cool. This ransom is fine. We haven't died yet. We should definitely expect to die soon. If we die, we immediately disband this army. Because that should reset the faction. Now, we've got plenty of troops here. We'll group them together. The faction is going to fire in 1 month. Okay, so how's our supplies looking over here? Grim is the answer. Quite grim. We're going to divide this, and we're going to divide it again into quads. And then these guys are going to come over here. There we go. That should do fine supplies-wise. And we should be able to group together plenty quickly. Okay. Yes, this is fine. No death yet. They're going to be able to send their ultimatum extremely soon. There it is. We died. Okay. So now our son takes over. Hopefully he hasn't had bubonic plague yet. We're 3 domain above our limit, and they can still actually send their faction send their ultimatum at any time. So that's good to know. Now we are going to need a new chancellor, and we're going to put in this lady, a new steward, and we're going to put in this gentleman, a new marshal, we're going to put in this gentleman, and a new spy master, we're going to put in this gentleman, or actually this lady. Okay, that'll be fine. This ducal ransom is fine. Now, we are above our domain limit. That is unsurprising, considering that we are a child. And so we're going to pop into our capital. This is not our capital region. We're going to pop into our capital. And we are going to hand out... Well, first we're going to construct this. But we're also going to hand this out. And we'll hold that, of course. We'll hand this out, as well as this one. Okay. There we go. Now, we do need to make sure that we have a good situation on our High Shaman. We can actually put our mother in there. Done. She's going to heavily endorse us. So that is very, very needed economically. Now then. We've got our army situation over here. I want to make sure that this guy is still in the faction. He was, yes, this gentleman. Okay, so we'll have this recalculate. 644. Sure. They're going to fire. This was fully expected. Any moment now, and here it is. Okay, I will not be threatened. We'll rally the troops. We're not concerned about this. Not concerned at all. Now, here's the question. Does this become part of the war goal? We'll find out. Yes, it does. Beautiful. That's what we wanted. So we need a chancellor here, and that will be this guy. We need another new steward. That'll be this guy. We need another new marshal. Skill 15 is the best we've got. Gross. Okay, well, that's fine. We're going to head on in over here. This guy has access to like 30,000 troops. This is fine. Okay. So where are our siege weapons? The furthest away possible. I should have checked on that. We're going to move these guys on in. And we're going to come fight this force as soon as we can. They're running away. I'm not shocked about that. We're going to group this together. And we're going to split off the bombards. And we're going to split off about like that. Perfect. Now these guys, they are going to need a leader. And we want to put in the best one that's available. Which is not very good. Not very good at all. Wow. All of these guys are pretty much rebelling against us. This guy's the best we've got. Okay. That's exciting. We're just going to stick around over here, I think. We're not going to look to fight just yet. And we'll put in this guy as a siege commander. Perfect. Okay. So we need to get ticking war score on our side. That is top priority right now. We may also want to start thinking about getting additional troops, but we are negative in cash at this moment, and the bubonic plague outbreak is still ongoing. So that's the thing. Okay. So we take this. That immediately will put ticking war score on our side. So that will be fantastic for us. We're going to head on up over here. And we may just end this game as we lived, fighting rebels. We'll see how long this war ends up taking. I don't really expect we're going to get very much more expansion. But, I mean, when your empire is this big, it's not surprising. Especially when we've put basically no effort into cultural conversion. Like, look at this. Basically no effort. I like it. Religious has gone fairly well. But yeah, we've not done very much on the old cultural front. That's for sure. So we're going to siege over here. And we'll take that, of course. No problem. And then we're going to siege over here as well. Now, we can go ahead and split this force in half and have them keep their supplies up. No, don't do that. There you go. Perfect. And we're just going to continue sieging over here. Like, if we look at who all's rebelling, it's most of the Empire. But these couple of occupations is 24% war score. Is it just me, or is that a little insane? It's a little insane, right? Like, I definitely feel like that's a little insane. Now, they're going to start succeeding sieges of their own and pulling this back towards 0. That's understandable and completely fine. Like, that's obviously what they're going to do. We're going to continue sieging over here. We're going to head over here next, I think. And I am interested potentially in raising up more troops. The problem is finances, right? That's the main issue there. So we win that siege. We're up to 37%. They're sieging a lot of locations, and they're sieging slower than we are, but they have more units sieging overall. So, oh, bubonic plague is over. A whole lot of people died in that. There's no doubt about it. But it is over now, so that's good. We'll imprison this Khan. Perfect. And our fort is going to finish sieging over here. Yeah, they're sieging a lot of locations. We're up to 40% war score. However, they're starting to pull that back with their own sieges. Fully expected. Completely and totally expected. Okay, we're going to head on up over this way. Yeah, you can see here, they are up to 21% war score from occupation. However, we have 8% from ticking, and that's what's most important right now. I'm keeping an eye out for enemy armies, but they do not seem to really be in this area. We're probably going to head up here and grab more of this war target area, I think, rather than heading out like over this way. So let's just head up this direction for now. We'll have these guys park here. These guys park like up here for the moment. Yeah, this will be fine. We got some additional taxes, which is fairly lucky. That will help us. Now, we are currently unmarried, and that's acceptable for the moment. We're 7, right? Now, this guy is firing. He's a populist uprising. Now, odds are extremely good that the populists and the independents are going to fight each other. I think that's fairly likely. For now, we're not too concerned about the populists. Okay. So this siege finishes. We're going to head on up over here. We're currently at 40% war score. We get 50% more. Of course, they're going to continue to pull that back. And that's completely understandable. That's just the way this is going to work. But with us moving up here, that does mean... Okay, these guys are hostile, not enemy. These guys are embarking over here. We need to keep an eye on that force, but we need to push in over this way. And to that end, we're going to continue keeping our units together. Excellent. Now, are they going to start trying to contest ticking war score? We see there's about 30,000 moving this way. We're okay. We are absolutely going to have this castle by the time they get here. They're trying to contest ticking, and this is good for us. Now, let's take a look at their forces here. They've got some pikemen. They've got some trebuchets and archers. They've got some heavy infantry, some cavalry, some bombards, some crossbows. Honestly, I think we win this. I really do. Especially if we can catch only half of their army here. Let's see what their plan is. I think they're coming over this way to try to siege this. If that's the case, we're going to start moving these guys south instantly. There's another small force here that we don't really care about. Yeah, they're heading this way. This is what I wanted to see. Okay. We're going to group these guys together. We're going to let these lock in. And we're going to head in right around now-ish. When are they going to arrive? Actually. Okay, they're locked. In we go. This guy left the war. We must have captured him. That's a little bit unfortunate. I'm not super happy about that, in all honesty. But we'll head on down. And we should win this fight. It is, however, time to put a cut in here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we are going to finish fighting these rebels. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. And I will see you all next time.